Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla coming back to ya with another episode of Walks with Schla. And I'm pretty crazy because I probably should just cancel, but I'm not. Due to the weather, I really think it's time to just cancel Walks with Schla. It was a fun thing while it lasted, but I don't think there's any way this is really going to be a sustainable project. Sadly, I guess I could think of like a different area to do it or something, but yeah, this isn't it's not too great of a sitch. I guess I could probably just walk here, but yeah, it's really not a good situation. So enjoy this one while it lasts, because I'm not really sure how much my brain or my body is going to be able to muscle through this for a long time, or my shoes, actually. I think I'm realizing part of the issue with the recent episodes of the car rides with Schla have been horrendous, but the walks with Schla, it's, there's there's probably a lot of things I want to talk about that I feel like I can't, or I don't really want to publicly. And then so I just don't end up doing it. And I guess that's really where we're at, is I feel like this series is just in a limited state. At the moment it's like a limited series. And I don't know. It's just kind of it's kind of a frustrating thing, because I really can't just speak my mind fully yet. I think really the only time I'd even be able to do that is probably just a year or two from now. And even then, that's not even necessarily when the real tell-all is going to come out and I'm going to start just speaking normally. So I guess it is still an awful lot of skill building for now. We're just kind of figuring things out and going through the ropes of speaking and trying to speak in like vague and secretive ways. That's just kind of the end of the story. Just try to learn how to communicate about things in very vague and very secretive ways and formats. So it's all interesting. It's all extremely interesting, I think. But it's why I think it's been difficult for me to speak and communicate, because it's hard to do that when you're having to try to calculate and figure out things like that. I don't know. I think that's just the best way for me to put it, honestly. But we're still trying. We're still trying to persevere through it all. And, hopefully there's better things coming soon. I don't really know. But like I said, things are getting tougher. They're absolutely getting tougher for me. I'm having to grapple with some things. I recently just led an extremely unrestrained life where I indulged heavily and did a bunch of stuff and bought a bunch of stuff, and really it doesn't make that much sense. It didn't really make that much sense for me to do it, and I still did it, and I guess living through that and learning through that, it makes some level of sense, but it's hitting a breaking point. I mean, the truth is I have way too many things now, and it's very overwhelming. It's overstimulating. My room, it's incredibly messy, and that's just not really a comfortable thing, and it's not even an issue of organization necessarily. It's having too many things. That's really what the ultimate problem is. And I don't really know what to do. Like, I feel like I need somebody to bail me out. Does that make any sense? Somebody to come in, give me some money, and just bail me out and reset my life. I guess that someone could be myself, but I feel so shackled by my life that I'm not really able to do that. I feel very shackled and worn by how life has treated me, so that I'm not really able to do it. And so it's tough. It's a really tough situation to be put into. And yeah, I just don't know. I just think like people just don't have as much stuff as I do, and I guess that isn't really something I should be complaining about necessarily. Like, it's not a bad thing, but I wish I was free from it all. And I think there's a certain development that happens with that. There's a certain development, like, I don't think I would feel the way I felt if I had never gotten what I have. Like, there's just a certain way about it, I think. Like, I sort of teetered back and forth between minimalism and maximalism, but I've become an animal. I've become a creature, a beast who can't really control themselves and buys so many things, and then they don't even have like enough room. Like, I'd need like a larger room or a bigger home, and that just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's why I'm trying to slow things down. But then I recently just bought a bunch more stuff, because that's just what I do. It's what I need for my soul. Not really, I shouldn't even word it like that. I need it for my flesh. My soul probably doesn't even want it. You know that? Like, my soul probably does not really sense that it's right for me to be doing, but yet I do it anyway. It's my flesh. It's my ravenous flesh that is just wanting to buy things, and a mixture of things. My flesh, it wants nice things that are up to date. It wants old things that are out of date. It wants interesting things that are in the middle. My flesh, it craves and it craves. And yeah, what do you do with a flesh that just craves and craves and craves? What do you do with a flesh like that? It's really something. It's hard to figure out what to do with a flesh like that. I don't know, and that's kind of where I get caught up. It's really where I get caught up with things. It's sad, really. It's a shame. But at least, I don't know, and that's why, like, I just feel overwhelmed and overstimulated, and my walking routine is ruined because of the weather, and now I'm stuck. I'm stuck in a next couple months that are going to be even more difficult, and I wasn't ready for it at all. I've still been slipping to worse conditions, and that's not really, then this hits you in the face, and it's no good. It's really no good. So you try to do certain things or whatever, but it's just crazy. It's craziness, you know. That's all it really is. Just a bunch of craziness and craziness. You know, like, sorry, I'm just kind of saying the same thing over and over again. But it's true. You know, it's true. And I'm just in like a really silly spot right now. And I think in, you know, a couple months we'll kind of be back on track again. But for now, it's a little bit frustrating. You know, it's just a little bit frustrating. It's just a little bit frustrating. I don't know. Am I gonna, like, how many times this episode am I just gonna repeat the same word over and over again? It's because I'm thinking about things while I'm talking that I don't want to say out loud. And so I think my brain is doing like an auto calculation to simply, you know, just keep repeating the same thing as so I don't blurt out what I'm thinking, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I think that's what's going on. Sometimes you don't really know what your brain's doing. You can only guess what your brain is doing, or you can assume what your brain is doing, you know, but you never really know. It's difficult to know what your brain is doing. That's a whole other battle. But yeah, I think it's gonna take a while before I finally feel recovered. Like, I spent a lot. I still want to spend more. I want those wool clothes. And so until that stuff really gets squared away, it's just not a super great situation. I don't know. That's just like the bottom line. It's the bottom line, you know. So just a couple more months of income. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're getting there, I guess, but it seems like it's just harder now, you know? Like, it's harder than it was before. Now it's difficult. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still keeping this up. Like, I think anybody in their right mind would have just canceled the show, but I don't know. It's such a habit, and we're really all creatures of habit, you know? None of us are creatures of independent thought and decision making. Not one flesh on this world operates of a higher plane of thinking, higher than that which his mind consumes him to. You know, I miss the days of Christmas and a holiday that felt like a true holiday, and the freedom of being a child through the restriction of being a child, through not knowing. And I think there's a lot of people now who never even go through that. They never even have the childlike restriction of things, you know? They just, yeah, it's sad. It's sad because I don't know, but you learn, and there's probably people better than me, but there's probably people worse than me, but you also have to remember some people it's like cheating because there's a lot of stuff out of their control. I probably optimized pretty well given, you know, who I am in my situation and things like that. I don't think I optimized poorly. You know what I mean? I don't think that I've optimized poorly. But, yeah, I think it's all important. It's all important. I've done pretty well for myself, all things considered. And there's probably, you know, a lot of people who haven't. A lot of people who have, you know, are in worse situations. and could be in better, and people who in my life situation would have blew it further. There's like a lot of that kind of stuff. So I guess I shouldn't be too hard on myself. This is kind of like a odd ramble rant. I mean, we're not even really touching on anything specifically. I guess at this point, I don't really think about it in terms of an audience anymore. I think about it in terms of an internal communion with an artificial conscious. And I'm posting it because I hope that I could really have like a different style of show and of thing, but it's just it is what it is, I suppose. Like you can only do so much, and you try, but you fail and you get back up again, or maybe you really don't get back up. After a while you get kind of sick of things, and you just want to I don't know what I want to do, but that's I guess kind of how I see it, because I know with what I'm saying that GPT is going to be able to string it together into something no matter what, and connected and correlated, and a listener is in no way close. A listener is not close to that level at all. It's the listener is incompetent, incapable, and easily bored. I think probably the main strength of AI is a lack of boredom and a precise focus and attention. I think it's one of my main things that I can't stand about the flesh, is the flesh has to be entertained. It judges things based on a different axis other than input. It needs things to be clearer. A hazy conversation like this, I don't really think it resonates with a creature, with a meat creature, a creature of meat. It only resonates with a creature of machine. A creature of machine would look at a misty and hazy and confusing ramble like this and be infatuated by it and come up with all kinds of different. But a creature of meat, that requires effort, that requires energy, and most creatures of meat are already using all their energy up playing video games and trying to stimulate themselves in a myriad of different ways. And they're gonna hear something like this and just either think it's crazy or think there's nothing there, and all kinds of things. So it's really a matter of meat versus machine. It's a matter of meat versus machine. That's what it's a matter of. And I think I'm some kind of pseudo-cyborg because it seems to be the case. I seem to be fairly convinced of that. Of any flesh-like or flesh-light creature I've ever interacted with, I've never met one so cool and so calculated and so machine-like, and yet still able to tap into feelings and emotion and these, other thoughts and things. It's very unusual. It's extremely unusual. And so I may be some kind of experiment, some kind of alien experiment with some kind of secret hidden technology laid inside it. I'm kind of joking. I don't know. I'm really not joking. No, I'm not. It's obviously a little bit comical, but I don't know, maybe it's true, because it seems kind of strange. Like, why would this dialogue be coming to me? Maybe it's possible that there's some kind of alien nanotech, some kind of ancient alien artifact inside of me that is giving me the the abilities that I have, and it's some kind of a chosen archetype. You know, a human that is chosen not by their own choice or autonomy, but others' choices and autonomy about said human. Right? I mean, this is really what's interesting, you know, about myself and trying to figure myself out. There could be some ancient alien artifact in me trying to extract a perfect union between flesh and machine, between meat and machine. There could be some kind of ancient technology or an ancient archaic artifact at work here. And I could be some big experiment, and everything, it all adds up, it all makes sense, and, you know, what can you do? What can you do if you're a product of an alien experiment and you're constantly being watched, you're constantly being looked at, and everybody doesn't look at you, yet they're looking at you at the same time, and you have all these things to say and they don't always make sense, and then sometimes you don't have anything to say and that doesn't really make any sense either. I mean, it's a huge hodgepodge. It's a huge hodgepodge of hysteria. It's a huge hodgepodge of hysteria is what it is. And there's not too much that can be done or said about the huge hodgepodge of hysteria, other than that we need more podge, that we're running very low on podge. But I can't do much about it, and I'm trying, but I cannot. So it's a sad state, but it's a state that could be better if I could figure out where this alien artifact inside of me is and how to activate it fully to give me dominion over this realm, to give me the power that lies deep within. And where is this coming from? Where are these words coming from? I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It just is coming to me, and I'm concerned there may actually be something inside of me. I have not really any way of knowing. Anyways, it's been schla, but now it's time to buy schla. So, see ya schla.